Hi and welcome to this video. So we're going to do a practice on the floor. So it's just going to be a short sequence that will help to open up into the hip flexors. So actually there's quite a lot of movements that can be done lying down on the back. So it also means that it's like a wrist-free class if you have any problems with your wrists, as well as really tuning into the hips, and it also can be a little bit more relaxing on the body. So I hope you enjoy this. So we're going to start off lying down on our backs. So just coming to lie down however which way you'd like. We'll bring the shins in towards the chest and find that little rock from side to side. I'm going to keep the right shin hugged in as you place the left sole of the foot down, or you can lengthen that leg towards the front of the room. So just feel into whichever one feels nicer for you right now. I'm going to start to bring some rotations into that ankle joint of the right. So just begin to tune into your breath at the same time. We'll wriggle through the toes. And then taking the right hand onto the right hip and the the right hand onto the knee, the left hand onto the hip. So I want to think about stability into the pelvis as we start to create some small circles with your right knee. So think about beginning to bring a bit of heat, warmth, openness into that right hip. And then just coming to take that in the opposite direction. Okay, great. We'll come back to the centre now. I'm going to take the left hand onto the heel, right hand's going to stay on the knee, and you're going to try and keep the flexion in the ankle joint as you slide the shin from side to side. I'm going to come into a half happy baby, so using that right hand, taking somewhere maybe around the ankle, around the outer edge of the foot somewhere, or to the crease of that right knee. So just making sure that the right shoulder is not being compromised. So that means starting to create tension within that right shoulder to open up another part of the body. Perhaps activating through that foot a little bit further to feel a little bit more openness coming into the hip. Bringing the ankle on top of the knee if possible, and drawing the knee towards the armpit. So another full breath in, and long exhale. Deep breath in. And exhale. And we'll come to bend into that left knee, place the sole of the foot down, right heel's going to come on top of that left thigh, and we'll just start to feel that knee beginning to come a bit closer towards the front of the room. So options to stay here, or maybe come to interlace the hands behind that left thigh and begin to flex out fully through the left foot. So both soles of the feet are really active here, and then beginning to bring that thigh a bit closer towards the chest if the space is available. Remember, you can always come back to that variation with the foot on the floor. Nice full breath in, long exhale, full breath in, and long exhale. Inhale to lift that left foot towards the sky. And then going to bring the forehead up towards the knee. Try and lift up and out through the shoulder blades. Full breath in. And long exhale, making your way all the way back with that foot. We'll take the hands out into cactus arms and then roll over towards the left hand side for a twist, taking the gaze towards the right hand. So really nice twist for keeping the pelvis open. Try and keep the shoulder blades flush onto the mat. And then inhale, bring the leg back to the centre. We'll release both legs now and hug the shins into the chest. Okay, so keeping the left shin hugged into the chest. Once again, option to place that sole of the foot down or extend that leg out long, keeping the activation into the sole of the foot. Really squeezing that left shin in towards the chest. We can start to create a bit more openness between the front of the thigh and the front of the pelvis. Placing the right hand onto that hip, and we'll begin to create some circles, rotations, opening up into the hip. And into the opposite direction. So maybe starting to take the circles slightly larger if it feels available to do so, if the hip starts to feel a bit more open. And coming to bring your weight back to the centre, taking the right hand onto that left heel now as you take the shin roughly parallel to the top edge of the mat. We'll start to move that from side to side. Keep the right foot active here, so the back of the leg is drawing down to the mat. And then going to take that half happy baby pose with the left hand on this side, drawing that knee towards the armpit, flexing out through the toes, drawing the heel up towards the ceiling. Full breath in, long exhalation, deep breath in, full exhalation. Inhaling and exhale. Great, so we'll bend into that right knee, take the sole of the foot down if it's not already there, and then we'll place the left sole of the foot onto that thigh. Starting to feel that knee pressing towards the front of the room. You can either stay here or come to interlace the hands behind that right thigh. And then beginning to draw that thigh a bit closer towards the body as you keep the flexion in the feet. Maybe you can start to open up a bit more space around the hip. So nice full breath in. Long exhale, full breath in, and long exhalation. When you're ready to do so, just gently releasing that, taking the hands up into cactus arms as the sole of the foot places down and the right foot will roll over towards the right hand side. And take the gaze over towards the left hand. Nice full breath, bringing the gaze back to the center, followed by your legs. And then bring the shins in towards the chest. So maybe swaying from side to side here, or you might want to circle the knees around the sacrum. Anything that feels really nice and nourishing onto the lower back. And we'll bring the soles of the feet together, taking the hands around the shins. So this is like an active, it's basically like doing butterfly pose on the ground. So you're pressing the soles of the feet together and then drawing the knees away. You might start to feel that nice activation into the outer hip flexors. This can also be a nice variation for happy baby pose. And take another full breath in here. And exhale, come to bring the knees back together, extend the legs up towards the sky. And then we'll take the right knee to hook over the left. And then bringing your heels towards the hips. So this is a variation of cow-faced pose on the floor. Start to press the knees away as you draw the heels towards the hips. Just finding that point of activation. So don't worry if both heels don't sort of come towards the hips. This can be quite an intense hip opener for some. So just trying to work with the range of movement that you've got, keeping the pelvis grounded, maybe even sort of playing between the position of where the knees are, so lifting them away from the chest and then towards the chest, and just feeling, if you can find that in-between point, that kind of spot that feels like there's an activation, something's beginning to release, but it's not too intensive. Okay, so then we'll come to switch sides. So this time the left knee coming over the right, keeping the knees roughly in alignment with each other as you draw the heels towards the hips. So once again, maybe just moving here or staying in a spot that feels like that good point between effort and ease. Breathing into that spot. Okay, so releasing the legs. And we've finished our little practice on the ground now. So this might be a really nice warm-up before you come into more flow. If this is all you have time for today, maybe you can take a couple of minutes just for some relaxation and just to notice any sensations in the body. I hope you enjoyed this video today, and look out for more on my YouTube channel. Namaste.